Book of the Week, the new Meditation Handbook by Geshe, Kelsang, Gyatso. Hi, welcome everybody. It's Jason Barlow, RMT, and I'm here as your therapist and as your coach to help you transform any stress, tension, and pain into health, happiness, and vitality. I'll be honest, I'm being very biased when I talk about this book this week, just because it's very personal and close to my heart in terms of my Buddhist practice. This was actually the very first book that I bought, one, about Buddhism, and two, about meditation. So my background, I was born and raised in Manchester, in the UK, and as a young child, I do remember going through some bouts of definitely stress and anxiety that I didn't really recognize or understand at the time. And then worry, fear, and that really birthed even more when I went to junior high age, which was grade 7 or age 12, 13. And I struggled with that transition going from an elementary school or a K to 6 school here in Canada to transitioning into that high school in the UK, or junior high as it's listed here. And where I'm trying to get with this is I struggled to such a degree that I actually got to the point where I physically was sick. Like I actually eventually needed to get rushed to the hospital and have my appendix removed. The abdominal pain I was seemingly struggling with, which was, from now reflecting back, was definitely a psychosomatic response to the stress, worry, and anxiety that I was going through at that age. Basketball took over in my life at around that turnaround point to age 13. And, that was me pushing and inspiring myself through the great work of Michael Jordan and everything he did, as we know, with the Chicago Bulls. So he doesn't even know this. He was definitely a mentor of mine unknowingly, who really inspired me, and seeing how he prepared himself psychologically, physically for the sport of basketball. And I just obviously had some good success with basketball up to a certain point. But the life lessons that I took away from learning from somebody like him have pervaded my entire lifetime. Eventually, with having a son, I stumbled upon Buddhism and meditation. The first turning point came with meditation in particular, just sitting down in the class and somebody teaching you how to meditate properly. And I had an experience that I'd never had before, this real sense of not having to pursue, perform, consume, buying something or being with somebody or consuming food in some context, to feel satiated. I'd never had that experience before, and call it beginner's luck. The very first meditation I had was about the mind of patience and how it's a very strong opponent to the mind of anger. And I don't know about you, but I certainly came from a background, me personally, where I would very quickly get irritated, frustrated. I remember my dad teaching me, or trying to teach me how to golf. And I'm sorry, Dad. Praise to you. He had a lot of patience for me. But I would pick up the stick and throw it far further than I could ever hit the ball at that time. And I just found that I was just so frustrated by that golfing experience that, at the time, obviously, I was going through some challenges mentally, and I didn't know how to deal with them. Meditation came into my life, and this was the very first book, like I said, that helped me understand more about meditation, written by a Tibetan Buddhist master, Geshe, Kelsang, Gyatso, who I consider to be my spiritual guide, my teacher. And he wrote this book in the 90s, but he came to the UK in the 1970s and really helped firmly establish Buddhism in the West. Indeed, originally he taught only in his native tongue, in Tibetan, and nobody understood. He had translators, and eventually he learned English. But his books are incredibly well written in English, incredibly easy for us to digest and consume. But to what degree are we consuming them? There's an all-important question. Like, I've studied these on an intellectual level for years, coming on 18 years this winter. And I would say it's only been the last 3 years that I've really started to feel them sinking much deeper into my heart, to the degree of which it's now having a more manifest experience in my day-to-day life. It's not to say it wasn't having any impact before then. It certainly was. But the impression that it's having more in this last couple of years is far deeper than the previous years. So in this book, let's get to the nitty-gritty of this book. Otherwise, I'm talking about my own personal self, and we're not here for that, are we? This is a practical, inspiring guide to Buddhist meditation. How to discover the inner peace of meditation. I mean, just think about that for a moment. Inner peace. Do you believe inner peace is possible? It's a very important question to ask, because if you don't believe it's possible, there's no way you would want to pursue it, because you don't believe it's even achievable. How to apply meditation in daily life. This is a practical book. There are 21 meditations inside of this, one of which is maybe spanning over 10 pages for the description of the meditation, but most all the others are 2 to 4 pages at the very most. And these are very profound meditations. These are very mind-transforming meditations. These aren't just simply, I want you to focus on the flame before you, or think about the butterflies and the fireworks and the moon aligning with the star. It's none of that. This is about deeply penetrating your mind. If you're serious about learning to understand your mind and learning how to meditate effectively, then this is a book that I highly recommend. Now, if you never find an object of meditation, and I'll come back to what I mean by that in a moment, if you never find the object of meditation, your meditation serves no function. I just learned that recently from a very inspiring and senior teacher in this tradition of Buddhism. So all these years that we may have meditated, if we're feeling frustrated because we're not meditating effectively, well, one, we're pushing too hard. We need to learn to relax, almost as if we're convalescing when we meditate, just absorbing and taking in. That's number one. And number two is making sure that we're finding the correct object of meditation. And there are 21 objects of meditation in these guided. Now, what you could do, you could get this book, get your phone, your smart device, and record yourself guiding a meditation. So, as an example, we'll just go straight to number one meditation in here about our precious human life. So I'm not going to read it all, but you could take your recording device and just start the meditation, which is described in italics in the book for you. And it begins like this. Our human life is precious, rare, and immensely meaningful. Due to their previous deluded views that denied the value of spiritual practice, those who have taken rebirth as animals, for example, now have no opportunity to understand or practice these teachings, since it is impossible for them to listen to, contemplate, and meditate on these teachings. Their present animal rebirth itself is an obstacle. Only human beings are free from such obstacles and have all the necessary conditions for engaging in spiritual paths, which alone will lead to everlasting happiness. And you can read on from there. Record it, and then just tune in. Create a quiet environment. Go to the river. Take a 10-minute break. And take this time. Read these meditations over and over and over and over and over and over again. When I first got this book, I actually kept a tally. This is the second edition for me anyway. My original edition, I kept a tally of how many times I would rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. And I found each time a little bit better, a little sharper, improving. And, meditation is such a skill that requires training, and it requires assistance. It is not something that we naturally pick up. We have natural aspects of our mind that some people have the calm of the experience of just experiencing, enduring, and having a beautiful, calm, peaceful, contented mind. Most of us, though, myself included, we have to train and we have to work for it. It's just like somebody who has to train and work for helping keep off body weight and keeping their stable control of their weight. I'm the same when it comes to training my mind. I need to be consistent in training my mind in and out of meditation to experience these healthy, happy, energized minds. So my book of the week, the New Meditation Handbook, written by my spiritual teacher, Geshe Kelsang Gyatso. I highly recommend it. Incredibly profound teachings inside of this. And again, I highly recommend just dive into it, practice the meditations, follow the guidelines that are in here. Follow the guidelines. And Geshe Kelsang Gyatso guarantees happiness, and not just temporary happiness, but lasting happiness, with the caveat that you must apply what is being taught. And who benefits? You do. That's the only one that benefits directly from getting this book and ingesting it into your mind, nourishing your mind. And I guarantee, just from my personal experience, some wonderful transformations that will take place by learning to control your mind. Such beautiful teachings, beautiful meditations. I hope you do get a chance to get yourself a digital copy. You can do that through Amazon, or you can go to TARPA, THARPA.com, and just click on your respective country, and you can order the book through there, or download an audio edition through there, as well as the digital copies also available. Thank you very much for joining me. Remember, your muscle health is my #1 priority. That's why I'm here teaching this. This is going to help reduce your muscle stress, tension, and pain. I guarantee to you that it will do that for you if you actually take the medicine. So thank you. Farewell. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.